and reigniting global solidarity, accelerating action on the 2030 Agenda and its sustainable development goals towards peace, prosperity, progress, and sustainability for all. He attributed Africa's challenges to failures in good governance and decried the impact of broken promises, unfair treatment, and exploitation from abroad on the continent's progress. He emphasized the significance of this year's theme for Africa given its unique historical context. President Tinubu also traced the establishment of the United Nations, linking it to the aftermath of the Second World War, when global trust in institutions was at its peak. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu on Monday advanced his economic development diplomatic drive for investment attraction as he engaged extensively in a bilateral discussion with South African President Cyril Ramaphosa in New York City, ahead of the United Nations General Assembly. A statement signed by Ajuri Ngalale, Special Advisor to Tinubu on Media and Publicity, says the Nigerian president asserted that Africa must have a consensus view that the hundreds of billions of dollars spent through international development finance institutions over the years must meet the specific needs of developing democracies in Africa, even if done with exclusive regard for their own enlightened self-interest. Referencing President Tinubu's quick implementation of what he called brave economic reforms, the South African president agreed that the two countries have much more wealth to create together in close and international partnership with each nation leveraging on each other's respective strengths. The South African president emphasized that history has proven that Nigeria and South Africa can move the world on matters of mutual concern when the two nations operate on the same wavelength. The federal government says part of its debt recovery effort is to block loopholes and activate strategies geared towards recovering debts owed by individuals and corporate organizations. These were part of the speech delivered by Director of Special Projects of the Ministry of Finance, Aisha Omar, on Tuesday at a sensitization workshop on debt recovery organized in Gobe for Northeast Zone. Omar, who was represented by Deputy Director Bridget Moloku, said the key policy objectives of Bola Tinubu's administrations are to increase revenue from non-oil sectors and block loopholes. President of the Trade Union Congress, TUC, Comrade Festus Osifo, says his bloc of the organized labor has met with the Minister of Labour, Simon Lalong, who leads federal government's delegation. Speaking with journalists after a closed-door meeting at the Ministry of Labour, Comrade Osifo stated that they have presented their list of demands to the federal government, noting that operations of government should not come to a halt on account of the president's absence. Sharon Ajay completes the report.
The TUC president, in response to questions from journalists, said the organized labor has been in touch with the government, emphasizing that the expectations is amicable resolution of the issues that have led to the current situation.
We told them that time is of essence. We told them that the patience is running out. We told them that we cannot continuously engage in rhetoric. We can't keep these to and fro conversations in endless meetings. That all we want is action. All we want is results.
He stated that the leadership of the Congress has painstakingly kept track of the distribution of palliative with the aim of following the progress or otherwise of the exercise.
After our last NEC meeting, we also said that we will not leave it at the federal government stand alone, that we are also going to take it to the states. As of today, we are collecting reports across all the states, even the little palliatives that has been released. How has it been expended? We are collecting that result, and we are going to address you in the coming days on this subject, state by state, region by region, what has been done.
On whether an ultimatum is still in force, particularly with regards to the proposed indefinite strike. Comrade Osifo expressed TUC's desire to wait for President Tinubu's return from the United Nations General Assembly, while dialogue also continues across the states of the Federation.
Let's wait and see if truly they will be back by weekend. If they are not back by weekend, and if next week elapses, we demand the CWC and the neck of the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, we have to review this entire thing and take a definite position on it.
Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
As part of effort to eradicate the use of illicit drugs, and in Africa, Nigeria is set to host the 31st edition of African Heads of National Drug Law Enforcement Agencies HONLAF Conference. The Director General of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Buba Marwa, disclosed this today while addressing journalists in Abuja. Buba Marwa, who was represented at the event by the agency's secretary Shedrack Haruna, says the conference will foster synergy among anti-narcotics organizations across African countries in order to provide solutions and curb the menace of hard drugs. Judith Peters has details.
The representative of the Director General NDLEA stated that the conference will have in attendance 53 heads of NDLEAs and African to deliberate on how to end drug abuse, trafficking trends, and to discover strategies to combat the scourge of this in the region.
The reason for this press conference is to inform you of the forthcoming Heads of National Drug Law Enforcement Agencies Africa with the acronym HONLAF Conference, which Nigeria will host. It is a subsidiary body of United Nations Commission on Narcotic Drugs and a body under the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. The HONLAF meeting is an annual event that brings together heads of drug law enforcement agencies in Africa to discuss drug abuse and trafficking trends and develop actionable strategies to combat the scourge of this.
Country representative of United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, Oliver Stoll, says the conference will help African heads to deliberate on how to reduce production and consumption of drugs and give opportunities for African countries to learn from each other.
Notably, regional and international cooperation to reduce illicit cultivation and production of drugs, something that we have observed thanks to the operational successes of NDLEA over these past years, also here in Nigeria, not just in terms of cannabis, but also manufacturing, for example, of methamphetamines. Including, however, also discussions around alternative developments, which is an approach that is being promoted in many countries that are traditional drug cultivation countries, and which I think, at least for some of the products that are being produced locally, could be also seen as a possible approach, so an opportunity to learn from others.
The Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has invited the Department of Security Services (DSS) to join the probe of late singer Ilerioluwa Aloba, popularly known as Mohbad. This was contained in a statement signed by Lagos State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Gbenga Omotosho, on Tuesday. Mohbad, a former signee of Naira Marley at Marlian Records, died last Tuesday at the age of 27. The state government also commiserated with the family and fans of the former Marlian Records signee. In addition to the police special investigative team in Lagos to probe the death of Mohbad, Babajide Sanwo-Olu has invited the DSS to join the investigation and widen the dragnet with inter-agency collaboration and use of best-in-class technology to unearth the truth. Sanwo-Olu has directed that all those who may have played any role whatsoever in any event leading to the death of Mohbad be made to face the law after a thorough investigation. The state government pleaded with all those who may have vital information that may assist the investigation process to avail the investigating team of such. The federal government, in a bid to end terrorism menace, is set to implement the West African Police Information System (WAPIS) in Nigeria. This was revealed by the Minister of Police Affairs, Senator Ibrahim Gaidam, when he hosted the delegation from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, European Union and Interpol during their visit to the headquarters of the Ministry of Police Affairs, Abuja. Gaidam said the visit marks a significant milestone in the journey towards the implementation of the West African Police Information System, WAPIS, and here in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He also said the implementation of the WAPIS holds immense significance for the Nigerian police and our great nation as a whole, as we stand at the forefront of addressing the complex challenges of transnational crime and terrorism. The need for efficient and reliable information sharing mechanisms cannot be overstated. This system will enable us to tackle the menace of organized crime, drug trafficking, human trafficking, and terrorism more effectively. It will empower our law enforcement agencies with the necessary tools to identify and apprehend criminals who operate across national boundaries, ensuring that they face the full force of justice. The Commissioner of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has indicated that construction of the 1028 kilometers Abidjan-Lagos Highway project is set to commence in January 2024, beginning with the procurement for the main construction and the actual construction work. At a workshop convened in Lagos by the Project Implementation Unit of the Commission's Special Development Initiative to exchange ideas and comprehensively assess the highway project's physical, economic, and social aspects. The chairman of the Special Development Initiative, Ebere Iznobi, revealed that the experts from 5 member countries, namely Nigeria, Ghana, Togo, Benin Republic, and Cote d'Ivoire, were conveyed to discuss the projects aimed at transforming the lives of people living along this corridor. He emphasized that transport infrastructure has been accorded top priority in the ECOWAS Commission's programs. He further disclosed that the project was deliberated upon and approved during the meeting of the heads of state. The Minister of Works, Senator Dave Umahi, has revealed that the reconstruction of Trunk A roads in the southeast would necessitate over 7 trillion naira in funding. The minister revealed this information during a recent inspection of federal roads in Imo State. He also announced the termination of the road reconstruction contract of Amamwozuzu Umomini Ovie Amakoha in the state. According to the minister, the termination was based on negligence and incompetence on the part of the contractor. He mentioned that the contract was granted on December 6, 2013, with an anticipated completion date of March 9, 2015. He directed the contractor, Vic France Nigeria Limited, to redesign the contract with concrete. The coup d'etat in Niger may put additional pressure on Nigeria and other West African nations' food markets, the World Bank has said. According to the Global Bank, the Nigerian coup d'etat puts an additional 7 million people at risk of falling into severe food insecurity in the region, against a backdrop of soaring commodity and staple food prices and severe food insecurity already affecting 3.3 million people during the lean season. The bank stated this in its September food security update, where it says, while describing the implication of economic and financial sanctions, the Economic Community of West African States and the West African Economic and Monetary Union imposed on the country. The Washington-based bank stated that food prices increased by up to 21% in August in Niger. It noted that this limited poor households access to food and the ability to meet their dietary needs. The coup leaders have already put an end to the single window system set up by Mohamed Bazoum to limit embezzlement of funds and corruption in the public administration. As a result, there are palpable fears that revenue from customs and tax services is again paid into the public treasury account, which will allow the junta to freely plunder public funds. A boat carrying around 100 passengers sank on a river in northern Myanmar on Tuesday morning, with dozens feared missing. The vessel sank around 10 a.m. local time on the Shindwin River in Mingin Township, Sengyang region. Media quoted a source close to the local transport minister as saying a search operation had begun and the number of missing people was being tallied. You're watching Global TV Midday News, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When Global TV Midday News returns, MI of Kano urges insurance adoption. We'll tell you about these and more right after this break. Please don't go away. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the midday news from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. The Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, has urged Nigerians to embrace insurance as a way of relieving loss, especially in businesses and property loss. The Emir stated this when the management of the National Insurance Commission, led by the Commissioner for Insurance, Olorundare Sunday Thomas, paid a courtesy visit to the Emir's Palace in Kano. Kikalomo Okere has details.
Mission to ensure insurance obligations are adequately met by insurers and commended the leadership of the Commission for the giant strides and effort in developing the Nigerian insurance markets. He also reiterated that insurance is no doubt an important aspect of human life, as extensive research has shown that insurance is not conflicting with religious belief, especially with the coming of the Takaful insurance. The Commissioner for Insurance appreciates the Royal Father for the warm reception and his acceptance to personally attend the National Insurance Conference scheduled for October in Abuja. Commission thereafter named the Emir Aminu Ado Bayero as Royal Father for Insurance in the country and commended his style of leadership since his takeover of the throne.
Like hospitals, like schools, like hotels are also supposed to have insurance cover because people do go in and come out of them from time to time. So if anything happens in one of those buildings, they are supposed to have insurance cover. This is apart from other assets. But the one that is very critical to us right now, a national conference is being convened, Your Royal Highness. Your presence will be one of the catalysts that will be required to steer up insurance in this country and amongst its people. So much have been put into this country by virtue of value and asset accumulation. This asset needs to be preserved.
The Emir, however, reiterated his commitment to support insurance deepening in the country and further assured he would consider the invitation to National Insurance Conference and personally attend the conference. Kikalomo Okere, Global Television News.
The Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON, revealed that it has successfully recovered more than 70% of the 4 trillion naira in bad debt from debtors. Despite prevailing concerns related to interest rates, Ahmed Kuru, the CEO of AMCON, made this known while speaking to Newsben in Lagos on Monday. He noted that the original funding plan of AMCON was 10 years and that there was the assumption that the banking industry would grow at a rate of 20%, highlighting that the banking sector's growth has been below 5% for the past 7 to 8 years. A lot of recovery has been made, but it looks like there is no impact because of the interest rates on the loans. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals, Princess Adejoke Orelope Adefuliwe, has joined leaders and experts from around the world to call for increased investment and alignment of resources from public, private, domestic and other sources to accelerate progress on the delivery of 2030 agenda. Orelope Adefuliwe made the call while speaking at a high-level event held at the margins of the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, tagged Accelerating SDGs Progress Through National Finance Strategies and Integrated National Finance Frameworks. The event, organized by the governments of Nigeria and Indonesia in collaboration with key partners that include the United Nations Development Programme (UNDP) and UNICEF, is aimed at shedding light on the critical role of national finance strategies and integrated national financing frameworks in achieving SDGs. The Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) has confirmed that Sao Tome and Principe have withdrawn from the 2024 Women African Cup of Nations first round against Nigeria. The nine-time African champions were to host the Sao Tome and Principe leaders in the first leg of the qualifying match at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, Lagos on Friday, with the return leg scheduled for Tuesday, September 26th. The Nigerian football governing body last week released a list of 24 players for the clash, with camp slated to open same Tuesday. However, NFF's Director of Communications, Ademola Olajire, stated that logistics was the primary reason for the opponents' withdrawal from the WAFCON qualifiers. The Kwara State contingent will compete in 18 of the 32 sporting events at the 7th National Youth Games, NYG, kicking off on Wednesday, September 20, 2023 in Asaba, Delta State. The executive chairman of Kwara State Sports Commission, Malam Bola Magaji, disclosed this in Ilorin, the state capital, yesterday. Magaji said that a contingent of 215 members comprising athletes, coaches, secretaries, helpers, interpreters, board members, cleaners and medics will depart Ilorin for Asaba for the 10th day youth games. He said that the state would only concentrate on sports that are sure to win medals. Magaji, who said that the state had recorded a huge success in the history of National Youth Games, ranking 1st to 10th on the medals table in the previous editions, commended the state governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak's administration for sustaining an enabling environment through prompt release of funds and improved infrastructural development. And that's it on Global TV Midday News, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. On Star Times channel 276, kindly follow us across social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Chidinma Jerison, thanking you so very much for watching. Have a great day.